Hello and welcome to Echoes of Uncertainty. I am your host, Ubi. This is the next episode. I was supposed to have a guest host today, or a guest joining me, and ultimately, after doing a little bit of recording with her and talking through kind of the script, I found that her episode is going to be a lot better as actually my season finale. And so that'll be in a couple weeks from now. I will have my little sister, Victoria, who's also a therapist, joining me, and we're going to talk family, therapy, and I think it's going to be a really nice little wrap up to the series. But jumping right into today and visiting last week, we talked about artisans. And I found, what did I find? I found that kind of the same thing that I will echo from last week is this question is hard. And some feedback I received was that artisans in America are kind of like farmers, that ag is very much our, I don't want to say our bread and butter because it's not, because everywhere in the world has agriculture, but it's just very American and it's part of our kind of cultural identity, whereas like overall artisanal products isn't, because we are a get it now type of society. And I found talking to folks that when they have the choice of buying something artisanal in the moment or getting something instantly, they're going to get it instantly. There's nothing wrong with that. I think this is just part of culture where we want things when we want them, and typically we want them now. And I understand that. There's no judgment here. It's just interesting how American society differs from other societies around the world. And I was in my kitchen this morning making breakfast, and I was struck with inspiration. I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to talk about today on Echoes. I know that my original plan needs to get scrapped for another couple days. And then suddenly I was sitting down writing all of these notes. And then I sat back and I started thinking, I'm like, why did inspiration just hit? What was it? Was my mind blank enough that it allowed lingering thoughts to come in? Was it because I was focused on cooking, something I'm incredibly passionate about, even though I was literally just making eggs? Like, why does inspiration strike when it strikes? And so one of my questions to you, the listeners, is when does inspiration strike you? Do you notice that you're doing something specific? Is it when you let your mind wander? Is it when you meditate? Is it when you're doing something mundane? Or do you have strategic like thinking time carved out of your day? And I would also be really interested to hear this answer, men versus women. Like, do women have time to have inspiration overall? And do men have time, I guess? And what is the difference there for thinking about when inspiration strikes? And or do you have time to be inspired? Ooh, I like that. Yeah, maybe that should go on a shirt. Do you have time to be inspired? Or do you feel like you have time to be inspired to follow your passions? Ooh, ooh, yeah, we're going deep today. I like it. Do you like it? Yeah, do you have time to be inspired? And if you do have time to be inspired and you get inspired to do something, do you have time to follow that line of inspiration? Now that I've said the I word about 5 times, I'm going to cut it off. But that's really interesting. Yeah. Other interesting things that have kind of sparked in the last couple weeks. I think I've mentioned this before, and if I haven't, I'm going to mention it right now. I'm very into astrology. Whether or not you believe in horoscopes, planetary alignments, like the whole kit and caboodle, that's fine. I'm not here to change your mind. But right now, and typically in summertime, we have really interesting astrology, different planets and different placements, some major transitions across the sky. And what has come with that is I've had various friends, family reach out and just be having a hard time. Like, the summer struggle is very real. And I echo that. Ooh, maybe that should go on a shirt. But going back to this, like, I am seeing friends and family grind, like push really hard in their careers, push really hard for their passions, their businesses, things they're trying to grow. and making great successes, making leaps, strides, bounds. And it's honestly amazing to watch people around me be successful and make things happen and be movers and shakers. And then also feeling the burnout, feeling like, am I doing enough? Feeling like things aren't happening quick enough. And I know I've experienced this in my career and in my life, that sometimes you're pushing so hard that you miss the point, or something really good has come to you and you're like, well, that's not really what I want right now. That's something I see down the road, or that's something that could be good, but I don't want to take the risk. And take the risk. Do the thing. If something comes to you, like, I truly believe if something manifests itself and you're like, I'm really not ready for this, or I don't think this is right, I think one should seriously consider doing it. Because in my experience, and granted, that's limited, and also watching other people's experiences, when you're pushing and the thing comes, the thing is presenting itself when the world, the universe, whomever, God, thinks it's right for you, even if it doesn't feel right in the moment. And I think part of life is taking risk. And as millennials, as people in your 40s, 30s, 20s, and I guess 20-year-olds aren't millennials, but that's a whole other conversation. We're just trying to follow a path, and a path that is really unclear, and a path that is like part society, part parent, part like, how do I break out of this internal cycle? And so when these little pockets of inspiration, pockets of alternate opportunity, I like that, alternate opportunity, present itself, it's scary and it's unnerving, and it's like, this is not part of the plan. Why are you deviating me from the plan? And so I guess taking a moment to like sit with these things, especially in the summer struggle, especially in kind of the wild things that are happening in the sky right now. And it's funny. This is a side note. When I look at where Echoes started back in October, November of last year to now, and just, I remember saying, oh man, the world is just so wild right now, and I don't want to comment on it. The world is still wild right now, and I still don't want to comment on it, because I never started Echoes to have a commentary on political, government, anything like that. And I feel like it's something I've been dancing around, and I've also gotten the feedback like, you kind of like, you say these things and then like you could push further, but you don't. And maybe season 2, I will find the inner strength to push further or comment on all those things and say my opinions. I just don't think I'm there yet. And I really like the idea of Echoes being theoretical and kind of a little existential, and it being thinking. Like, I want to pose questions to you, the listener, and have you come back to me and say, hey, Ubi, I agree with you here, or I don't have time to be inspired, or whatever it is, to kind of continue that dialogue so that I can keep coming on here week after week and comment. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, so going back, do you feel safe? Do you feel okay in taking risk in your life? I, like, and if I think about my personal opinion there, I think I do, but I think it depends on the risk. Am I going to go bungee jumping? Probably not. Am I going to buy a random rocking chair from Pottery Barn? Probably. I guess, what is risk? And I can only imagine anyone that's new to Echoes or hasn't listened to other episodes, how random and kind of chaotic it may be. Like, well, how can you even compare bungee jumping to buying a rocking chair? I mean, risk is risk, right? Sometimes risk is monetary, sometimes risk is thrilling, and I guess that's part of the spectrum that we're all on. And so ultimately it comes down to you, and like, where are you comfortable taking risk? Are you comfortable taking risk? And can you be inspired without risk? I don't know. Tell me, what do you think? Because I think you can, I mean, I think you can be inspired and not act on it, obviously, but is any type of like micro action a risk? I don't know. And if you do take said risk, or you do decide to act on a said inspiration, uh, is there compromise in that? Is there compromise like, okay, I'm going to take one step forward. It might put me two steps back, but then I'll still end up somewhere in the middle. And thinking about the conversation that we're having today and kind of echoes as a whole, where is the compromise in being certain and uncertain? And is that linear? I mean, it's not linear. It's not linear in my opinion. And when we think about compromise in general, do you feel like you compromise more than others? Are you compromising with yourself right now, making time to listen to this podcast? Are you compromising? Like, are you giving something else up to be able to do XYZ thing? And I realize I've kind of transitioned from inspiration, risk, now to compromise. But I think they all kind of mesh together. I think they all, when we're thinking about life and choices and like theoretical things you can do, they all kind of go together. And it's like life in general, you're sitting with the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. I mean, we can make qualified guesses, we can infer, but ultimately there is unknown, and that's okay. And are you comfortable with the unknown? Are you comfortable with not knowing? Okay, I've really gone like very deep and philosophical at this point. I'm gonna wind it back a little bit. I used to say, and I guess I still say, everything's gonna be okay, and even if it's not okay, it'll still be okay. And I was thinking about that this morning as I was crafting this episode. Everything has been okay, even when it's like really not okay. And going back to things present themselves when it's not on your timeline, on when things are ready to present themselves. If you are at your most not okayness, it's still part of the journey. And that's what life is. It's a journey, right? Like, it's a journey, man. I might have to cut that from this episode, but I probably won't. All of this to say, just know when you're not okay, you're still okay, and it will be okay. Someone put that on a shirt. I would put it on a shirt, but at this point, it's just a miracle I'm getting these episodes out. And so, I feel like I've posed a lot of questions this week. I'm really curious your opinion on all of the things that we've talked about here today. I realize this was a much more thinking episode than I've done in the past few weeks, but I also think that's kind of what Echoes was meant to be, is a dialogue and a conversation and something for you to take with you in your day and think about. And I'm here for that. Yeah. Anyway, my name is Ubi. Share this with your friends and family, or don't. Hit me up on social media, YouTube, however you're watching this, and let's have that conversation. I will be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Until then, take care.